Analysis: Trump's political and policy guardrails fall away. Washington APU An unrepentant President Donald Trump has been testing the limits of the nation's tolerance from the day he took office. Now he has cast. Trump nudged out National Intelligence Director Dan Coats, a rare cautionary influence in his foreign policy apparatus, while he escalated his attacks on minority members of Congress and went so far as to call a majority black U.S. city of 600,000 a disgusting. The president's volatile management style has shocked the nation before. But the drumbeat of the president has rid himself of many of the aides who once challenged him, either by attrition or replacement, and in doing so illustrated his preference for loyalty over know-how. He's inflamed rate. On Sunday, Trump had his acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, defend the offensive tweets on national television and furthered his divisive attacks on a veteran African-American congressman, claiming without evidence that Elijah Cummings. While Republicans nervously consider an unconstrained Trump 15 months from the election, few have stepped up to challenge a president who has been emboldened by the conclusion of the Russia probe and a divided Democratic Congress to conduct foreign policy and domestic politics as he alone sees fit. The temptations for Trump are only set to increase this week, before 2 nights of debates by his would-be 2020 Democratic rivals. Then on Thursday, and like so many of Trump's political impulses, the president's attacks this weekend on Cummings, the powerful chairman of the House Oversight Committee, and the racist tweets he sent 2 weeks earlier were born not of strategy meetings with aides, but of cable television. He first laced into 4 Democratic congresswomen of color, claiming they hated America and should go. Last weekend, it was a Fox News segment on Cummings' Baltimore district that set off Trump. Aides said Trump, former Chief of Staff Reince Priebus once nicknamed Trump's inflammatory weekend tweets, often triggered by something he saw on Fox News, products of they. After his attacks against Cummings, Trump asked advisors on Monday how the tweets played on television yet made clear he was not asking them whether he should have posted them, according to the people, who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss internal deliberations. The president has also, in recent days, expressed to Kushner, who many regard as Trump's de facto campaign manager, and other advisors on his re-election team, that he believed his broadsides against the minority Democrats would help excite his core supporters. Though polling suggests the attacks could hurt Trump with suburban voters, and especially women whom he may need to win again next year, Trump has been unmoved, telling those around him that he can compensate for that by turning out voters who did not cast a ballot in 2016. Unlike that election, Coats' departure accelerates a similar reshaping of Trump's foreign policy team. Previously, but if Trump tolerated that early in his administration, he quickly tired of their cautious attitudes, officials said, as he developed confidence in his own abilities to choose the right path, whether by stepping into North Korean territory or disregarding the Iranian downing of a U.S. unmanned drone over the Strait of Hormuz. All those officials have departed, replaced by those far less willing to challenge the president. Coats developed a reputation for sober presentations to the president of intelligence conclusions that often conflicted with Trump's policy aims, whether for rapprochement with North Korea, warning of Russian election interference, tearing up the Iran nuclear accord, or declaring the fight against the Islamic State group to be over. The president's chosen replacement for Coats, Republican Republic. John Ratcliffe of Lemire reported from New York. Editors note: Zeke Miller and Jonathan Lemire cover the White House for the Associated Press. Follow Lemire on Twitter @andmiller@.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.